Hello my friends and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be reviewing Chucky episode 6. I've got my co-hosts Chucky, look this way, come on buddy, Chucky and Tiffany right here with me, so let's talk Chucky. So, this week's episode begins in Charleston, South Carolina. We finally see Andy Barclay, who we all know from the movies. He has teamed up with Kyle, which is the foster sister from the movie Child's Play 2, and they enter the house of a nice family under the pretense of being census takers. Both of them are armed with handguns as well, we see at the start of this particular sequence. The little girl who lives there has a good guy doll called Charlie, and when the doll realizes he's been rumbled, Chucky tries to kill the girl, but Andy and Kyle both empty their handguns into Chucky's body and leave in a bit of a hurry. The family obviously completely freak out, and then we see the title sequence, which this week is made up of reflective shards of broken glass showing Chucky's face. This obviously reflects the splitting of Chucky's soul between the different vessels, which seems to be the big through line for this series. After that, during a rainy car ride, Andy recounts his experiences with Chucky, and we see several flashbacks to key moments in the franchise, including the severed head of Chucky that Andy kept in his safe. Andy has clearly become quite disturbed during his life, and he seems hell-bent on revenge. We also learn that he knows about Nika, and that he is determined to destroy the various incarnations of Chucky. We return to Hackensack, where Jake's class are watching a nature documentary about the mating habits of African animals. This scene is played for laughs initially, but it quickly takes a serious turn when the science teacher, Rachel Fairchild, is arrested in front of her class for the murders that Chucky committed. The gang all protest her innocence, but nobody believes them. They decide to go and find the Tommy doll, and Devon suggests that they contact Andy Barclay. We can assume, of course, that he has heard about Andy Barclay through his research into the original murders. Tiffany and Nika Chucky, which is how I'll be referring to this particular character just for ease, argue about body disposal, and after being sprayed with a gout of blood, Chucky appears to lose his grip over Nika. What causes these breaks in connection is still kind of unclear. Last episode it was the shine on a butcher knife, this time it appeared to be a blood spray. Hopefully we'll get solid answers in the upcoming episodes. We then return to 1987, Charles Lee Ray and Tiffany are being sold a used car. When the salesman tells them that the car is a true classic that never goes out of style, Charles gets quite irritated and gets in his face. Tiffany slips behind the guy and slits his throat, and they drive away together. The scanline effect during this whole scene is a lovely touch. It makes it feel really retro and 80s. Also, as they drive away, we see that Charles Lee Ray is reading a book about voodoo, nicely foreshadowing the events of the first movie, and indeed the events that kicked off the franchise in general. In the next scene, Logan's parents finally open up to Junior about his mother Bree's cancer diagnosis. Jake overhears this whole conversation, and it's an emotionally powerful scene and adds gravitas to scenes later in the episode. We return then to Tiffany and Nika Chucky playing poker. It's a lovely nod to the fact that Jennifer Tilly is a professional poker player when she's not acting. Tiffany realizes that Chucky isn't in control of Nika, and she professes she actually prefers Nika to Chucky. Nika does not seem at all comfortable with this, understandably so. Tiff says she brought the two of them a house that they can live in together, but she wants to keep Chucky out of their lives. The scene ends with her knocking Nika out. The gang discovers that Andy Barclay broke out of a mental facility 2 weeks previously, and they deduce that the phone call that Jake received a few episodes ago must have been from Andy. Junior visits the gang and talks to Lexi about his mum's diagnosis, but Lexi is distracted. The establishing shot in this scene is looking through the jagged remains of the stairs where the bully Oliver was fatally stabbed. It's a great shot because it looks like Lexi and Junior are inside the jaws of a gigantic wooden beast, reinforcing the danger that these characters are currently in. Unfortunately, Junior gets frustrated with Lexi's inattention and he decides to break up with her and leaves. Andy speaks to Jake over the phone and reassures him that they are on their way to come and help them out. How many episodes that's going to take, I guess we'll find out. We then return to Tiff and Nika, and it transpires that Tiff has bought Charles Lee Ray's old family home. She has quite a funny chat with the realtor here, who seems quite afraid of Jennifer Tilly, and there's a great moment where Tiff/Tilly asks the realtor if she'd like her autograph. Tiff has also ordered a mysterious package to the new house. It's roughly the size of a Chucky doll. I wonder what it could possibly be. Rachel Fairchild remains under suspicion, and we see her being questioned by Devon's mum. The detective seems to think she has motive, and there are fingerprints tying her to the scene. She also makes reference to Rachel's delinquent past, which is interesting. Later, we see Junior sat in his mother's car while she goes to her psychiatry appointment. This entire scene is just phenomenal. Chucky was hiding under the car, and Junior puts on his headphones. It's great misdirection here because we think that Junior is the one who is in danger, but it is in fact Bree, his mother, who is actually Chucky's target. Chucky pushes a cart of mail towards Bree as she stands contemplating what she should do next after her appointment. The impact pushes her out of the window and she lands on the car containing Junior. As she falls, Chucky waves and blows her a kiss as well. The slow motion wide shot of Bree falling is just absolutely amazing. It lingers on it for a long time. Her face is then smashed through the windscreen when she lands, and it's especially gruesome because she's basically nose to nose with her son Junior. I know I say this every single week, but this was the best kill so far. Just absolutely phenomenal stuff. Now, this episode is called Cape Queer, which is a play on the film title Cape Fear. And in this episode, we see Devon watching Cape Fear. Now, this movie stars Robert De Niro. It's famously parodied in The Simpsons with Sideshow Bob playing the killer character. I absolutely love this movie. I'll admit, I saw the Simpsons parody before I saw the original, but when I saw the original movie, holy god, I watched it a few years ago and it's amazing. If you enjoy Chucky and the Child's Play franchise, I cannot recommend this movie enough. It's incredibly creepy. Robert De Niro is terrifying, unlike anything that you've seen him in before. It's nothing like he's like in Meet the Parents or any of those gangster movies that he's in, that he's brilliant in. But in this movie, he is just a terrifying psychopath. The rest of the cast in the movie is great too. I thoroughly recommend that you check this movie out. It's an underrated classic. And as we all know, a true classic never goes out of style. So in the final few scenes, Devon comes out to his mum, and she's really supportive. It's a really touching moment. And the scenes we see from Cape Fear inspire the gang to booby-trap their house in case Chucky comes for them. It's not really made clear how Devon snuck out of his house, but it's fine. He's with the rest of the gang in Lexi's burnt-down house. Devon tells Jake that he came out to his mum about their relationship, and they also have a nice little chat about final girls in horror movies, and they heap deserved praise upon Jamie Lee Curtis. It's a lovely moment, and things go sideways from there pretty much. In the final scene, Chucky pushes Devon's mum down the stairs and she breaks her neck, and Chucky flees cackling. This whole scene takes a while to build up, and there's some really good stalking moments before this actually happens. The episode has really not been a safe one for people's mothers, with both Junior's mother and Devon's mother both being killed off in quick succession, so they've both lost their maternal figures now. Both were very likeable and sympathetic characters, and it shows just how nasty Chucky is, and certainly indicates he has a bit of a penchant for killing people's mothers, as of course he killed his own. The music in this final scene is absolutely fantastic as well. They take the score from Cape Fear and use it to maximum dramatic effect when Devon's mum dies. This was an incredible episode. This series just keeps getting better and better and better. Every single episode is an absolute banger, and every kill seems to top the previous kill. Let me know what you thought about the episode in the comment section below, of course. I always forget to ask you guys to do that. And don't forget to like and subscribe. I hope you've enjoyed this little review recap of Chucky episode 6. And I will see you, or we'll all see you, next week for the next episode. Oh hey, looks like you stuck around right till the end of the video. Thank you so much for supporting my content, I really appreciate it. This channel is still in its infancy at the moment. Over here you should see a couple more videos that you can enjoy, and there should be a subscribe orb as well. Give that a click for me, you'd really make my day. Thanks for watching.